Hi everyone, Philip here. Welcome to the final part of the What's Wrong With Me series. This is part 10, I'm calling this one a decade later. It is currently August 2019, which marks officially 10 years and 4 months since the first accident in 2009. This has been the culmination of the entire project, I guess, the entire idea of the series, which, as I've said many times in recording, there are two main goals. One was to have a sort of release, catharsis, as far as going through this. It's hard to really put into words what it's like to be in pain every single day for over a decade, to go from, quote unquote, perfect health to an injury that is so severe that it's been misdiagnosed multiple times and it's been a decade later and it won't heal. It tries, but it just never holds. And that is the other part of the motivation to do this, was to figure out why. A more personal reason of doing this, I confessed as much in part 1, is after the second accident in 2011 in December, into 2012, I made a pact with myself. I said that if I wasn't better 10 years after the first accident from 2009, after a decade, then I would kind of just cash in my chips and end it. Physically, I don't have a lot to offer, friends or relationships or anything like that. Occupationally, I'm busted. But personally, I didn't want to let go yet. I've said numerous times that I appreciate being alive very much. I believe we have one consciousness on this planet, and I didn't want to throw it away just yet. But I'm trying not to hold on to those negative things. I'm trying not to focus on what I've been robbed of, because I've been robbed of so much. Outside of physical people, I've been robbed of the last 10 years of my life. To reiterate what I said in previous video, they say that the 30s are the best years of your life. And I had virtually every bit of my 30s stolen from me. And I have lived 80% of my 30s in pain every single day. So I never got to experience that being comfortable in your skin and confident in yourself kind of stuff. They say you kind of grow to accept who you are in your 30s. And I never got to experience that because I was having to discover someone new, someone broken. Assuming that I'd be better in a couple years, max, never happened. It's a difficult thing to get people to understand, and it's another reason I made this. So if people want to know exactly what I've been through and what it's like for me, I can now point you in the direction of videos. Here's my story. Here's what I've been through. Here's what's going on. This video is kind of a summation of that. It's called A Decade Later because it's talking about now, how life is for me now. Like, I can never explain really adequately, even after all the videos, what it's like to go from being perfectly healthy to a broken thing. I have friends with their own debilitating issues that really make life hard for them. I want them to know, if you ever watch this, that I'm always here for you, because I'm one of the few people on this planet that can completely understand. So my support is always there for you, because I know what it's like to not feel like anyone understands. We have a special guest, Thunderstorm, so that'll be joining us for this video. I completely get screaming in your head, what's wrong with me? Because 10 years later, no one knows. And this is gonna sound really crappy of me, and I don't mean it to, but I often envy people who can find other like-minded people. I have a friend who has really bad seizures, and they can find other people who suffer the same thing, or maybe a support group, or a counselor or a doctor. Like, it's understood, the idea of seizures. And I'm not trying to say, oh, poor me, my condition is worse than yours. I'm not comparing. I have always said that if your idea of illness is comparing yours to someone else's, you're doing it wrong. Everyone goes through their own struggles, even if it's not physical, like mine. It could be mental, it could be emotional. I go through those every single day. What's been hardest for me is not being able to find anyone at all that is going what I'm going through. I've never met anyone who's been in a car accident or an accident in general that busted their neck and completely repositioned their spine and is just not healing. I feel like I belong at the Mayo Clinic. I feel like I belong at some kind of testing facility, do proper tests, do muscle density tests that people won't do on me, because I try and explain to people that I have very minimal muscle density in my neck. And I use what I have. Now I have this, and I'm grateful for this, I am. But at this point, I'm theory crafting my own medical treatment. I said in a previous video that I wanted to have stem cell research done on me, which I know is not everyone's cup of tea. I know they don't agree with that. Completely respect that. But my issue is that my neck muscles won't grow back. And that's where we're sitting today. I know I kind of went on a little tangent here, but I wanted to paint a picture of, if you're on this raft by yourself and you can't find anyone else that gets what you're going through, and people either think that you're over dramatizing it, psychosomatic kind of stuff, or that you're out and out faking it, I can show you and have shown you pictures and x-rays and stuff of my back and neck and head. Something's wrong, and I don't know what it is. And that's where I'm sitting today. And as I said, that's one of the two reasons I started this series, was to try and find answers. Maybe one day a doctor from the Mayo Clinic or a doctor that specializes in stem cell stuff can be like, hey, you know what? I want to try and help you out. When you're essentially stuck and you're forced into some kind of like hermit lifestyle and you become almost agoraphobic, it's hard to get out of that shell. And on top of it, you can probably understand now, if you've seen all the videos, why I am very distrusting of the medical profession. I've been taken to the cleaners a few times and lied to by almost every doctor that I've ever seen that was just trying to grift money out of me to line their pockets. They didn't care about me. And the only person that did really give a damn about me is Dr. M, and I still see him to this day. And that's a kindness I can never repay. As I said in an earlier video, and I'll say that a lot, as said, because I'm referencing the older videos a lot. But as said in a video when I talked about him, he was the first doctor that told me, I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know why you're not healing. You should be healed by now. But you know what? I'll do what I can for you. I have fought for the last 10 years against a lot of stuff. I fight every day, and every day is scary. And I guess I'm not done fighting yet. I want answers. I want answers. I want to know why I'm not healing. I want to know why. Why am I the only person I've ever found any documented evidence of that just won't heal? But there has to be an answer. There has to be an answer out there somewhere. There has to be. I guess I just accepted this is my life now. And I still accept that. If this is my life, then this is my life. But I have a feeling that the answer's out there somewhere, like X-Files, the truth is out there. And maybe that's where it's at. Maybe it's on some alien spaceship that's gonna fly and abduct me one day and take me up and heal me. Awesome. Waiting for it, been waiting for 10 years. I'm right here. I wanna fight, I want answers, I want to figure it out. But I'm also very terrified of getting older. And I'm not afraid of aging. Every year I'm alive I'm lucky to be this old. It's the fact that the pain's gonna get worse as my body deteriorates from age in general. And if this is the best it's gonna be for me, 10, 15 years from now, it's going to be excruciating, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. What kind of life will I have? I don't know. Will my pact turn into a 20-year pact? I don't know. But it scares me. And I would like to find answers sooner rather than later. I'm hoping that I do. Earlier I said that it's hard to really describe what chronic pain is like, especially when you're in pain every single waking moment of every single day. And it's back pain, it's neck pain. So I'm going to try my best to describe to you what it's like for me now here. I've shown pictures and I've given evidence, and I've told accounts, and I've said what doctors have told me and all of that. But I am my best doctor right now as far as diagnosing me, because I know what this feels like. And doctors I talked to in the past just didn't get it and weren't listening. So I'm going to try and describe as best I can what it is like for me right now. I have very minimal muscle density in my neck. This feels paper thin because the muscle on this side is so minimal. There's more muscle on this side, but this side is where the bell-shaped curve with the twist happened. And when they set it back, this is the side that swelled up to about here on my shoulder and had this arm and hand go numb, which went down by itself because medical doctors weren't taking care of me properly. My Adam's apple is right there. But I showed pictures in the MRI video, my senior pictures, where I had because my head sat back farther and more up, and my Adam's apple poked out more. Like if this is your Adam's apple, I guess it's farther up now, like that. My head tilts like this now. This is my head, and this is my neck. I brought paper to try and draw. I'm not the best drawer, so bear with me. So like if this is like, like the normal head and really long spine, and this is the neck area right here. The muscle is going to do that naturally. This is the muscle. I know it looks like I can't draw. This is more visual aid. So the muscle, connects from here. But the muscle, what people don't realize, might not realize, is the muscle connects up here into your cranium. So I'm gonna have to turn this way a little bit, this hurts. So the muscle comes here and then it comes down to here to where your ribs and stuff are, and your spine's right there. So all the muscle comes from up here and then connects down to here, there and there. If a normal person's head kind of just sits naturally, mine feels like that. And this is the bump area. So I'm thinking, this is my self-diagnosis over the years of why I'm not healing. If you're wondering, this is very uncomfortable for me, so I'm gonna try and do this as fast as possible because I have such bad range of motion that virtually any kind of erratic movement will pop something or something will snap out. As you've heard in videos, it's actually happened. And I don't want it to happen now because I had a setback yesterday. And I'm soldiering through this because I would like to get this out there, back on track. So I'm thinking that because my neck muscles aren't healing almost straight up into my head now, instead of growing up like normal muscle, it's having to grow in a new direction like that. So if this is a closer, the muscle's having to learn how to curve like that. But if you have 20% muscle mass in your neck, and your head is still very heavy, let's say my head's 20 pounds. It's not, but let's say it is. Your head's going to pull down this way because you don't have the neck muscle to support it. So it's going to pull down, and so when it pulls down, that muscle that is attached here and here, if it's being pulled down, it's going to snap completely off. If this is the muscle, this is my head, and it's being pulled down, eventually it's just going to snap out. Now the head should be sitting up here on top of the neck, not like that, which it is. So the muscle having to learn how to heal curved, almost the opposite direction. Instead of healing this way, instead of healing like this way, it's having to heal this way. And I think as it's going into my head up here and it's growing in this direction, that it's almost a 90-degree angle kind of, and it just snaps out. The problem is that, as I referenced, I'll draw it again. I know this is a lot to. So if this is one of the neck muscles, the muscle connects from here, from your cranium to your spine. If one of my vertebrae pop off this way, the muscle that was attached to it is affected. So there's a pain, not only where the vertebra popped, but there's a searing pain up here in my head as well. I hope this isn't confusing. I'm sorry if it is. This is just the best way I can describe it. So let's say this is the side of the head, this is the neck, this is the shoulder right here. And if the spine pops down here, but it was connected to that muscle there, and it snaps off of here as well, because if it pops here, it's affecting here. It's always a duality every single time. But then what happens to me is, and I've gotten into debates with doctors over this is what it feels like to me. What happens is whatever popped out vanishes. And I've been told that muscle can't just vanish. Mine seems to. So if this bit of muscle is what snapped out, then all of a sudden, that's not there anymore. It's gone. This shaded area is where it used to be. So now the muscle starts over here. Or the muscle density starts over here, and there's this empty space right here. And that empty space hurts like, I can't even describe it, because where muscle used to be is now gone. And it's like this void pain. So it's throbbing up here and it's throbbing down here, but it's also just it's hard to describe. It's just this aching tight. It's like if you were to take all the moisture out of that part of your neck and your muscles, it goes from what little viscosity I have to feeling completely dried out where it was. So there's pain here, and then there's just this void pain here. And that's not even really doing it justice, but it's the best I can describe it. If you think of your spine like a Jenga tower, most people's spines are glued. So if you were to knock the Jenga tower over, your Jenga tower would just go clump and fall over. If you were to fall off a bike, boom, your Jenga tower stays in place. So if you have a Jenga tower that has super glue and you were to knock that over, that's most people's bodies. If you were to take a Jenga tower that had no glue or very minimal, or like Elmer's glue, very minimal glue, but the glue that was there was Elmer's glue, and you knock that tower over, it's gonna start moving on the way down, and then when it hits, it's gonna shatter. That's what my back is like. That's what my spine is like. If I sneeze too hard, stuff pops. If I cough too hard, my ribs will pop, and they have. And so I've had to try and teach myself how to sneeze differently, but at the same time, you can't always control your sneezing. And then I've had to try and teach myself to not cough, just basically not cough. It's detrimental. It's just little things like that. So when I say I'm very fragile, that's why. My Jenga tower isn't glued together, and what glue it has is not adequate for holding a Jenga tower together. So now imagine that I'm in the car with you and you slam on the brakes to stop at a stop sign. If I can't sneeze, I can't cough, and I'm in a car and you stop real hard, for you it's nothing. For me it's whiplash, because I don't have the proper neck muscle back here to pad and to absorb the shock. So since I have less, it affects everything, because my Jenga tower is being throttled forward and then back. If that makes sense, I hope it does. Because I've over the years, I've tried to really get across to people how careful you have to be with me and how hard physical activity is for me. I've had to learn how to control my environment. I have to sit in a certain chair. I have to move in a certain way. I have to sleep on a certain bed. I still can't lay on my stomach. I don't think I'll ever be able to again. And that was my favorite position to sleep in prior to the first accident. For about 2 years, I had to lay on my back. I had to teach myself how to sleep on my back. And then after that, I was slowly able to transition to my side. So I'm gonna knock on cheap wood that doesn't get taken away from me, because I'm saying it out loud, because the universe hates me. Whenever I say something out loud, it punishes me. It's a thing. I can't be startled for the same reason for the whiplash and for the sneezing and coughing. I can't have anything that's like if you were to take cables and shock something or shock someone, it would jump, right? I can't have that jolt, being startled in general. And it's usually in my back that it's just, I jump, I do that involuntary, I'm doing involuntary now, so it's not hurting as much. Involuntary movement, even voluntary movement hurts me, but involuntary movement is very, very dangerous for me. It's one of the reasons I prefer not to be in cars if I don't have to be. I'm really only in cars once a week, maybe. But, people who've driven me 90% of the time have generally been very safe. Justin, for the most part, is a very good driver with me, but when things happen, it's bad. Potholes, things like that, they can hurt me because it's involuntary movement. It's awful. I know it is. I don't like to. I know I sound like I'm being pushy or bossy or overly dramatic about it. I'm not. I assure you I'm not. And if that's the reason you don't want to hang out with me, fair play. That's fine. But I can't help it. I can't help it. I'm a Jenga tower that won't solidify itself, essentially. And any movement that I can't control is bad. So I have to control my environment. Every part of my environment. Me and Justin here have kind of developed a snapping sonar kind of thing. So if I am getting up and walking down the hall, I'll snap my fingers and I'll wait for him to snap back so I know where he is. That way, if I'm walking down the hall, he doesn't actually accidentally come out of the bedroom and scare the crap out of me, which is bad news. That will hurt me. There's a lot of stuff about my life that isn't fun. That's not fun. Like, the amount of patience that Justin has to be with me cannot go understated. It's not something I take for granted. After my ex left me, I just asked the universe, send me someone that does not care. I can't help this. This is not my fault. I'm having to do what I can to try and maintain what I have. For whatever reason, the universe was kind for once to me and sent me someone that is ridiculously patient and understands, what I'm going through and lives with me. He knows firsthand what it's like to be around this, and he's heard stuff pop. He's been there. He's put his hand on my head and he can feel the pulse of my heartbeat coming through that area where the muscle used to be. So he is kind of my character witness, I guess, as far as my condition. I feel like absolute crap all the time about it. It's a huge sacrifice to be with me. But physically, I just popped. Physically, I'm bankrupt. I'm worthless. I don't want to get too graphic about stuff, and I know we kind of like to be personal, but as far as intimacy, it's pretty much out of the question. I'm not happy about it. Like, I've been forced into this weird sort of asexuality. When prior to the accident, I was a very sexual person. In being with me, that's something Justin has to sacrifice. And I don't want to I'm trying not to weird anyone out or anything, but it's a fact of my life. I accepted the fact that due to this, I would be alone for the rest of my life. Because who'd want to be with this? Like, it's so much to sacrifice. Because we can't sit together. We can't lay together. The physical deficit of being with me, it's severe. And I hate it. I absolutely hate it. You know, I want to sit next to my partner. I want to cuddle and lay in bed with my partner. I want to be intimate with my partner. And I can't do any of these things. Because every time I try, and he is a witness to this, every time I have tried, I hurt myself. You know, when I say life isn't fun for me, it's not just this, it's what this does. It pushes people away. It tests people's patience with me. Friends don't want to be around me. Lovers left me. You know, people don't understand or don't try and stick around long enough to get it. When I was talking about all the stuff that was stolen from me, that's part of it. There's so much that I don't talk about that's been stolen from me. Not only in the last 10 years, but even to this day. And those are part of it. I can't have a proper relationship with my significant other because I'm too fragile. I'm Mr. Glass from Unbreakable. It sucks. It really sucks. I know I said in the last video that I was going to separate this into like medical and personal, but it's kind of blurred the lines. So we'll keep it blurred. It's a natural stream of consciousness thing. So here's another analogy that I use to describe what my back and neck are like. If you have, like I have a very little neck muscle density, as I said here, and it affects everything because it's all connected. So imagine your neck muscles are toothpicks, but your toothpicks are clumped together, like glued together in a clump on both sides of your spine, and they're holding everything in place. Mine are not. So it feels like, this is honestly what, even right now, this is what it feels like. Because as I described earlier about the very heavy head and gravity is pulling it this way, and it's putting all this pressure on the bump area and this part of my spine. That's why the neck muscle won't heal, because it keeps snapping out or atrophying. We'll touch upon that in a second. It feels like, honestly, this feels like if you had like some toothpicks and you put a bowling ball on top of them and then let go. But magically, the bowling ball doesn't fall off. It balances, but imagine what the toothpicks are doing. The toothpicks are gonna start snapping and cracking in half, and this bowling ball is gonna be just a constant weight on it. That's what this is like for me all the time. And atrophy. I first got atrophy in 2010. It's another reason that my neck won't heal. It's one of the main reasons. And it might happen over a day or two, or it might happen over a whole week. So I could sit perfectly still like this for 6 months. And all this will heal back because I'm not doing any movement, so nothing's being aggravated. But then atrophy happens because it won't connect. Because, as I said, the muscle connects up here to your cranium, up here, and it won't connect up here, and it just atrophies out. I described it in a previous video. Like if you have rubber bands, and you take that one muscle as rubber band, and you flick it. You know, it vibrates, but then it goes back into place. Mine doesn't. If you flick that rubber band, it'll vibrate. That's what atrophy feels like. It feels like this weird vibration. And as soon as the vibration is done, snaps. So that pain that I described earlier from up here to down here, that's what happens, because it's essentially like if a muscle were to snap out of place, but instead it vibrates, it atrophies and goes away. It's gone. There's nothing I can do to combat that. I have tried everything I could possibly think of to make my neck muscles just solid enough. What I have left, at least, is what I mean. Solid enough to not do that, but it just happens for no reason. And it's like this silent predator that is waiting to prey on me and set me back for no reason. And atrophy will set me back way more than anything else, because if you're trying to grow the muscle to support everything and it's starting to grow back, then atrophy. Let's say my neck muscle starts out like this, and then it grows, and it atrophies. And again, it feels like it disappeared, which I've been told that's not how it works, but that's how it feels to me. It disappeared, and so if it was here, but then it's here, that space right there, that part hurts because there's nothing there now. But there's still, like, my body still thinks, hey, there used to be something here. So we're connected up here, and down here hurts like really bad. But then that invisible void pain is there too. And then it atrophies again, and again, and again, and again, and again. And after a week, this is all gone. This is gone. I'm missing this neck muscle again. And I've been set back to, certain point in time when it was like this, because all of the progress I had has been erased. That's what this is like for me. It snaps out, it pops out, it atrophies, and there's nothing I can do about it. I've tried everything. I've read up on so much over the last decade, and nothing seems to work. This is why I say that I think stem cell research is the last hope for me, because that will actually force the muscle to grow back. That's what needs to happen. The muscle needs to grow back, and it's not. It's like nothing is ever fixing itself, and that makes no sense. Muscle grows back. I even read a thing that said every 7 years, all the cells in your body like reproduce themselves. Well, then by that logic, I should be like one cycle and almost a half of having my cells reproduce themselves, and they're not. There's got to be a reason this isn't healing, and I don't have the answers to that. I can't run without hurting myself. I can't jump without hurting myself. Again, it's you're moving the Jenga tower, and if there's any movement, stuff's going to shift and move if it's not glued together. Mine's not glued together. The Jenga tower analogy is the best way I've ever been able to describe it to people, so I hope it makes sense. Sneezing, coughing, being in a car, whiplash, all of it, like it all moves the Jenga tower. And when the Jenga tower moves, stuff shifts. When stuff shifts, any healing I was doing is halted and or reversed every single time. So if your muscles are stitching back together, trying to heal themselves, imagine it's actual stitches on your arm. The stitches on your arm are starting to heal. They're the self-healing stitches. But then you cough and that pops some of the stitches. So that has to re-heal again. But you've re-aggravated that, so it's gonna take longer to heal now. Oh, you just sneezed, more stitches gone. That has to heal now. Or whiplash, more stitches gone. And the really, really crappy thing about my condition is it's not just physical stuff. It can come out of nowhere, but it's still very demoralizing that I can never make any progress in any way possible. Again, I talked about being stuck before in other videos. That's what it's like. That's what my life is like. It's like this weird, evil version of Groundhog Day mixed with Final Destination, mixed with just being Mr. Glass and Unbreakable, as I said earlier. If not for the accident, where would I be now? I can't win. I can never win. Imagine a single decade and 4 months, 124 months of being in pain every single day in varying degrees, but always a constant thread of pain. And it's going to suck the life out of you. I have to look in the mirror every single day and not only accept this visage I see before me, but then remember what it used to be and how I used to look and feel. To think back about how it used to feel to not have to think about this and this all the time. Like to have that ignorance is bliss. I miss that bliss. I wish I didn't have to think about this all the time and control everything just out of necessity for my safety. You know, I wish I was fun to be around for my friends. I wish that I was more fun to date for, you know, Justin. I wish I was better. On top of it all, on top of having my life and my vitality sucked out of me slowly and deliberately over the last 10 years, I have to just sit here in my consciousness and just watch it and try not to go absolutely mad. It's been a rough 10 years, as I've described in other videos, but even to this day, it's still very hard. I said in video 1 that in June I had kind of a scare. You know, I may not be going through with my 10-year pact with myself to end it all, but I think about it. So I'm gonna change the subject because I don't wanna think about that right now. One final thing I wanted to do is actually, with what model I have, is show you firsthand what this feels like for me. All right, bad guys, I went to get a red marker because I thought red was more appropriate. So this is the back of a normal person's neck, your neck at home. The cranium, the neck muscle here goes into your shoulders. Okay, I am going to show you what mine looks like. The white part will represent what I have, but the red part will represent the deficit of what I'm missing and what it feels like right now. So bear with me on this one. This kind of looks like a fallopian tube, so I guess go with that. But this part right here, this is what I have as far as neck muscle. This red part here is what I'm missing to varying degrees. Like, to put in perspective, this is what my neck feels like. This colored in red spot here is where I'm missing neck muscle. There is not, like right here and right here. Where my neck should theoretically be about out to here or so, it's missing. It's a blank void. It's not there. The little parts with lines are what I do have neck muscle, like here along the spine, like right there, and more on this side, which is why this side's a little thicker, and up into here. So I have it here, and I have it a little bit here, but this is not strong. Now the muscle here, knock on wood, is holding steady. This has been holding steady for a few years now, but it's the outline muscle here in the sides that will not expand or grow or anything like that. This is just kind of almost like blank space. You know, when stuff pops out or atrophies, it comes out from up here where it meets the cranium and then happens down here in the spine. Boom, all this stuff. And it's just, it goes along the route. When I talk about the ridge, I talk about the ridge in the back of my head. It's this area right here. I call it the ridge. This stuff right here is this is constantly in pain. This is constantly throbbing, because where there's no muscle here, it's in a lot of pain here because there's nothing there for it to connect to. And on this side, same as well. Like there's all this muscle not here, so this whole area here isn't available for the muscle to connect to because there's no muscle here. And then here where it does connect, it's very tight, like that dehydration feeling I talked about. And when stuff snaps out, it's always from here because that's where muscle is. The farther out it goes, the more pain is in because there's less muscle the farther out you go. And that's what when I talk about the ridge, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. And then this leads right into my bump area down here, which comes into my spine in a very strange angle. So, yeah. So I hope this does shed a little light on what my neck and head are like every single day. And this isn't going into how messed up my spine is. It's a mess. So, yeah. So I hope that adequately covers what life is like for me today as of August 2019. I'm still in pain every single day. This is a factor of my life every single day. And even if this line out here even goes out to here maybe, and this gets smaller, atrophy or something snaps, or I'm in a car issue or something happens every single time and I'm set back. I think there is a reason, but I don't know it. I'm hoping that someone out there watches this and can say to themselves, I think I know what he's going through and I think I can help him out. I am glad I did this. I am glad it's over. To be quite honest, this was not an easy series to make. I had to unlock a lot of doors inside and go back through all of it again. All the drama I've been through and all the weird stuff I've been through. And on top of that, just being in this weird unknown limbo of pain that does not go away. It's like a pendulum. It'll slowly get better, but then right back the other way. Every time. I've resigned to the fact that this is my life. I don't want it to be. I don't want to be like this anymore. I don't want to be like this getting older. I don't. That's scary. I don't know what to do. I haven't known what to do or how to do just anything. And this is the best I can do right now as far as trying to get my voice out there. I felt that in my life, I've encountered far too many people that don't have the empathy. Or if they do have an ailment or something, it's always them trying to win. Like I have friends that are very competitive about their chronic pain and they always have to be the center of attention, always have to win everything. That's not me. I'm not in this to try and be in more pain than you. I don't want to be in pain at all. That's the goal. Lay in any position I want. The goal is to cuddle with my boyfriend. The goal is to have no limitations on me physically. Or if there are, they're so minimal that they're what I can work with as I get older. This is going to get just, ow. Keep popping. I'm in bad shape. Yesterday was really rough. But my goal is to be as healthy as I can realistically be, and I'm not at the moment because I've been in this weird frozen stasis since December 2011, since the second accident. But it started in April of 2009. My hope, I guess, that there's an answer out there somewhere, and this is me screaming for help to anyone that will listen. I just want answers. I want people to understand what this is like and that it's not my fault and I don't want this. It's stolen everything from me. Everything. My savings, my way of life, my quality of living, my health, everything, my job, everything. And I sit here today, August 18th, 2019, as I'm recording this, and I'm still fighting. And I don't want to give up. I don't want to get back to that dark place where I said that if I wasn't better by 2019, that I would end it all. I don't want to miss out on what happiness I can have with Justin or with anything in the future or anything. This year alone, I did things that stepped way outside of my comfort zone. I paid for it physically, but I get tired of just having everything stolen from me. Experiences, concerts, trips, going to hang out with friends at a bonfire or going to a festival. I can't do any of these things. I'm tired of feeling like I'm this worthless leech that is forced into this box and no healing can get into the box. So this box contains me and protects me, but also this box also hinders me because I can't heal. And if I try and go outside of the box, I get hurt even more. So it's lose-lose, which is essentially my life. It's lose-lose. If I try, I don't heal. If I don't try, I still don't heal. I want to have as close to a normal life as possible. I want to be able to have physical interaction with my boyfriend. I want to be able to just not think about this all of the time. I want to be able to just forget. I don't have to worry about setbacks. And I want to heal and I want to be better. And the last decade has been me wandering through the mythical land of better. And it doesn't exist for me. And I don't know why. I'm gonna go and wrap this up now. I've been sitting here for a while and the pain is starting to get really unbearable. I'm glad I did it. And it hasn't been easy, but I'm glad I did it. As always, if you've watched, thank you. If you've watched the entire series, tremendous thank you. I know it was a lot to go through. Now you know my story from beginning to end up till now of what my life is like and has been like. It's something out of a movie. It really is. And it hasn't been a good movie. And I would rather not be in the starring role of this kind of movie, to be honest. As far as the future of the channel, because I made this channel specifically to do this series, but I would like to keep this channel up, because stuff happens in my life that goes beyond this. And I want to share more of that with people, since I am such a hermit and agoraphobic at times and don't like to leave the house. It's fear, it's the unknown. I'm not in a controlled environment, and here I can be. But I want this to be more of a personal and more me, because my other channels are me doing personas or voices or just different things trying to express myself. And this is just authentically me. And the series has been as authentically me as I've ever been. It's the real version of me, and it's the most honest version of me. Usually I sign off and say in the next video I'll be talking about, but I don't know what the next video is going to be about, but I know there will be more. I'm not usually one to be like, share, and subscribe, but more is coming. The cool thing now is every future video I do and every future thing that I work towards is going to be with this base under me, because people who have watched up till now know the basis of my story of the last 10 years. And YouTube is my last resort as far as trying to pull my weight. I will keep trying. And that's a promise I make to everyone that's watching. I will keep trying. I won't give up. And if it takes a few years, then it takes a few years. I hope Justin can be that patient. I hope Justin's family can be that patient, because they've been very supportive in helping us out. Stick by me and don't give up on me, because so many people have. And I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep trying. And I was going to say that I'll do my best to make it worth your while, but I think I'll just say that I'll do my best to make it. Yeah. I'll see you guys in the next video.